Check, check, 1, 2. Okay, I think we're live here. Welcome to Grounded Reflections live dream analysis series. This is an idea I've had for quite some time now, and I'm excited to actually be doing this. So I know I don't have the best setup right now as far as the camera goes. Check, 1, 2. Okay, I think we're live here. Yeah, so I'm still working out kinks, but doing what I can with the setup I have. So essentially what I want to do here is walk you through my dream analysis process. There's probably plenty out there, and to be honest, I think the one that I use is honestly pretty standard. And it works like this. I go to sleep, I dream, and as soon as I wake up, first thing I try to do is write down the dream as soon as possible. That way I get as much information as I can down. It's very fresh, because I find that if I start moving around, engaging in conversations or checking my phone, I definitely want to do that. Looking at light just degrades the images and the feelings a lot faster than normally, so doing it as soon as I wake up is crucial. Now I have a raw journal for that, and by raw I mean I just vomit out as much words, emotions, images that I can. So I have a couple notebooks that I've used over the years. I've been doing this for about 4 years now. Something as simple as this. Now I have something smaller so that if I'm traveling, it's just easier to bring it with me. So the whole goal is to just write down as much as I can. And usually during the day, if I have time to meditate and I want to concentrate on something first, I'll do that. And then I'll come back either later that same day or really just whenever I can and integrate that into a larger notebook where I'll do my actual analysis. I'll sit down. This is fairly new. I've only started doing this very recently. I think the first time I did this was a month ago. So I've only been doing this process where I'm taking it into another notebook and actually analyzing it. I haven't started doing that until recently. But I've had this book, The Element Encyclopedia of 20,000 Dreams by Teresa Chung, for about a year now. I didn't buy this for any particular reason. In fact, one of my closest friends just gifted it to me. He found it at a book off, like a book sale, and thought of me and got it for me because he knew it was something I enjoyed and was passionate about. And it's been awesome. This has been my favorite dream analysis aid. It's got a lot of material in it. It can be a little hard to navigate sometimes because the glossary or the actual dictionary, I guess, is all the way at the back, and there's probably over 1,000 different words and things that you can explore here. So I don't always need this. I pretty much always need it, to be honest. But it's a good aid. Now, not only have I been using this for about a year, but just recently I upped my game a little bit. And I started utilizing AI, not to interpret the dream necessarily, but as a cross-reference. I'll do my analysis, and just by that, I'll know if it kind of resonates with me or not, because I know myself. I know what I'm going through in my current stage of life, or when that dream was written down, I knew where I was. So I know what resonates and what doesn't. So if I plug that into ChatGPT, which is, I'm gonna be honest, guys, it's scary accurate how good its analysis can be. So I don't rely on that, but it's something I use for confirmation or verification. So try that. Try that too. But I don't want to rely on that because that kind of isn't my goal. I want to be able to do this, by myself. But I feel like it'd be cool to just show you guys that AI is capable of helping you along the way. It definitely can do all the interpretations, I'm not going to lie, but that's not what I'm here to do. So I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to use it as an aid to try and gauge my accuracy. And I've never had an instance yet where it's not really resonated from my analysis on top of the confirmation from ChatGPT. So I have a dream from last night that I'm going to do today. And I have some banked dreams too that we're going to do as well. But I also want to open up the floor to anyone who has a dream, has been writing down their dreams. If they want help interpreting it, another perspective on it, I'm here for that. And you can either put that in the chat, you can leave a comment in the video and I'll check it later, or shoot me an email. It's in the description to my channel and also should be in the description of this video, hopefully. This is my first live stream, so I hope everything goes well here. We'll see what happens. All right, so without further ado, I'm just going to jump into this. So I have my dream from last night, and the added bonus of the dream from last night is that it was a full moon. I find that the phase of the moon has an effect on what I'm feeling, what I'm seeing in my dream. It's usually during the full moon and new moon, but definitely the full moon. It's very action-packed, very vivid. Most of my dreams are very vivid nowadays. I've been able to recall dreams for a few years now, so they're generally pretty vivid, but it's just extra energy, a full moon energy. And I find that once the moon starts losing that energy or starts heading towards the new moon, it's waning. Um, I find that dreams often give me a sense of grief, anxiety even sometimes. So I'm curious, if you share your dreams, let me know what phase of the moon it's in, waxing, waning, full, new. I often find that that has some sort of extra meaning, and we'll get into that a little bit later, but let's do this first. So I'm going to narrate as I write this down, and then we're going to get a live look into the AI process. I think we're just going to do one today just because it's kind of late, but I'm going to be honest, I wouldn't be able to sleep if I didn't at least try to do this because I've been wanting to do this for a long time. All right, so first we'll write the date of the dream, which is January 4th, 2026. And I have everything here, so now the whole goal is to just write it into a little bit more coherent language because I wrote this literally when I just woke up, so it's probably not the best. All right, so I'm walking through town, and this feels like the town I'm living in, my hometown. But for my own sake, I'm just going to leave it as town because I know what I'm talking about. So walking through town with some friends. Now I'm going to be honest here, I don't remember all of the friends, but I don't think it's too necessary right now, and listen, what you got is what you got. So I'm gonna rock with that. When I woke up, I wrote down friends. I didn't get too specific, so that's what I have. And to be honest, right now, I can only remember maybe like one or two. And as far as people goes, we're gonna get into that as this channel grows, because specific people that you see in your dreams don't necessarily mean it has to do with them in waking life. I find more so that it's, when you see people, it's more to do with the aspects of those people in your own self, what they mean to you in your own self. And that's still something I'm very much exploring. I maybe only know like a handful of people in my dreams and what they represent, and that could vary at times too. Anyways, with friends, I notice a solo landscaper who has left his lawnmower unattended and went elsewhere. I hop on the lawnmower, intrigued and curious by it. And how it operates. Intrigued and curious of how it operates. I start using it and go up and down this random lawn, cutting the grass. Yeah, I don't remember whose lawn this was. It wasn't my lawn. I know that, but I'm actually pretty certain that this was the front lawn. So I'm actually gonna add that in, the front lawn. I'm pretty certain it was the front lawn, because I think I remember the landscaper going somewhere around the back. It was fenced in, and I think I could see him. He was wearing a hat. He's on the other side of this fence that looked like maybe the backyard or another property. But he left his lawnmower there, and I was walking with my friends and I saw it, and for some reason I really wanted to hop on that lawnmower. Okay? So the homeowners, who are also outside, don't realize that I'm not the person they hired. In other words, they think I'm the landscaper. Just as I finish up, I hear some shouting and see the landscaper, as well as a police officer, looking for the suspected lawnmower hijacker. My friends and I casually walk off the property like we were just passing by. And then when we were out of view of the scene, we bolted. We sprint. Yeah, we were out of there. Once we got out of view, we jetted. Because we snuck out of there like no one's business. And then once we were out of view, we left. So there was no chance of being like, wait a minute. It's dreams, man. This is tame, by the way. We sprint. Where am I? We sprint through the neighborhood. To safety. We're headed towards one of my friend's houses as like a safe house. It's like in Grand Theft Auto when you have, I don't know, 3 stars or something, and you're trying to flee the scene. That's kind of what it felt like. We were cutting through yards. Hopping fences. Until we reach a cliff edge. Now I don't know where this place is. The place I'm thinking. I know where this is. This feels like the town I'm in. But when we reach this cliff edge, it's at least 100 feet up in the air, and at the bottom is just water, like an ocean or a lake or something. And I'm thinking about that one place. I don't know what that bay is. Let me see. Let me see if I can find an image. I think it's in Greece or Italy. Bay. I'm just gonna type in bay in Greece. Maybe it's in Italy. That bay in Greece. Let's just see. Um, is it this Bay of Zea? Zia? I think this is the one. Let me check. Bay of Zea? Let me see if this is it. I'm just thinking about that one that you see on like all the Instagram. No, this isn't it. This isn't it. Maybe you know what I'm talking about. You see it on Instagram all the time. It's like, uh, if I find it, I'll show you. But anyway, I see this and I'm thinking, dang, we have to jump down here. And we're kind of like crawling down because it's sloping down and eventually you just have to fall right off and plummet. That apparently that was the only way to go. Anyway, I digress. We get to this cliff edge. At the bottom, is a body of, I'm going to say natural water here. In other words, it's not a pool, not something man-made. It's a natural body of water. So we jump down, and I'm telling you, this was at least 100 feet. Probably more. I don't know. It just was something ridiculous. Into the water. And climb out to the safety of my friend's house. Okay. Now, interestingly, this dream also kind of had a part 2. But it was, what's interesting about that is that these felt like 2 separate dreams, but the second one was like a segue, or they felt like 2 different frames, a part 1 and a part 2. So I'm going to do something I've never done before. I'm going to do part 1, analysis, part 2, analysis, and then I'm going to try and link them together, if that's the case, which I think they are, because it felt like they kind of flowed into each other. It didn't feel necessarily like one long continuous one, but 2 different ones that were of the same nature, I guess. Yeah.
What's with the lights here?
It's nice, I guess.
No, that in the corner.
Yeah, it's projecting here.
It's projected?
Mm-hmm. Do you like it? Okay.
Where can I find it?
Probably Amazon. It was a gift. I don't know. So I don't want to pause or edit these videos because, I don't know, authenticity. It's a live stream. It just seems like a lot of work. Maybe I'll get into editing later. I'm probably going to have videos that are standalone, not just live, but I'm going to do this anyway. Anyway, so that's it for the dream. Now let's get into the analysis, and I like to put the date of the analysis as well. And in this case, it's the same day. But, you know, sometimes I don't get to these until a week or 2 later. Maybe, I think one time, wait, what was the first one I did? Some of these I didn't get to for a while. Yeah, this one was a week later. Yeah, the first one I did was from a dream that was from a week ago. Actually, I did 1, 2, 3, 4 dreams from that night. Wow, yeah, and this was from a dream from December 4th, and I didn't analyze it until December 23rd. So that's kind of the beauty of it. You can come back to it. And that was a dream too that I was like, at the time, I was like, there's no, like, I don't get it. It's so confusing. But funny thing is, as time passed and I got to it, it actually made sense when I sat down and wrote it. But I've never done an analysis like this from the day of, so we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. Anyways, let's see what we have here. So at this point, let's reread it. Walking through town. I'm going to go through and underline some key things. Town, that's a symbol. with some friends. I notice a solo landscaper who has left his lawnmower unattended and went elsewhere. I hop on the lawnmower, intrigued and curious of how it operates. I start using it and go up and down this random front lawn, cutting the grass. The homeowners who are also outside don't realize that I'm not the person they hired. Just as I finished up, I hear some shouting, see the landscaper as well as a police officer looking for the suspected lawnmower hijacker. My friends and I casually walk off the property like we're just passing by. And then when we were out of view of the scene, we sprint through the neighborhood to safety, cutting through yards and hopping fences until we reach a cliff edge. Cliff edge, as well as fences, could be as simple. At the bottom is a body of natural water. So we jump down at least 100 feet into the water and climb out to the safety of my friend's house. All right. So I'm going to be honest. Here's where I'll start with the first symbol that I think, and that's the setting, which is town. Familiar place. That's kind of all I have right now. It's a familiar place. And I notice a solo landscaper. Now, a landscaper is a person whose job is to maintain and facilitate people's lawns and properties to help against overgrowth, managing weeds and dry patches. Their whole job is to maintain on a pretty consistent basis. Okay. And the lawnmower is the tool essentially that does that. So let's start with that. So I'm just going to make little quick notes here of what symbols I have. So I'm going to start with town, in that it's a familiar place. Familiar place. That's what I have right now. Hopefully I can find some more information on that, because I feel like there's a little bit more to the setting than just something familiar. But that's a good place to start. So town's a familiar place. A landscaper. One who maintains, say, appearance and functionality of lawns / landscapes. So this is all just literally what these things are. Before we get into how they could relate to me, I want to just see what they literally are. And this ultimately, landscaper, let's get into the lawnmower. Is the tool that cuts and maintains. We'll just stick with that for now. Now, the fact that this was a random front lawn and not my own front lawn or the front lawn to my dream house is a little interesting, because usually I feel like landscape dreams that I have would feature my own either front yard or backyard. So it's kind of interesting that it's an unfamiliar one. An unfamiliar one in a familiar town, though. That's what I have right now. Okay? And the police officer is an authority figure at the bottom line. The cliff. I'm gonna need some help with the cliff. But the cliff edge being at least 100 feet up. I mean, to me, that just symbolically screams like leap of faith, right? I mean, to me, that just symbolically screams like leap of faith, right? I'm going to stick with that because that seems to be resonating. And the water, I mean, water's pretty universally well known as emotions, feelings. The fact that it's a natural body as opposed to a man-made body of water like a pool or a man-made lake or ocean, whatever, canal even, tells me that these are natural emotions. Natural, but natural, and we'll say uncontrolled. Natural and uncontrolled or unknown. Emotions slash feelings. Okay? So that's what I have for right now. So, what can we gather? This is in a familiar place. We reach a random front lawn that a landscaper is at. Okay, I want to get some more info on the symbol of a landscaper, so let's see if this book has that. There's a lot here, but it's, pretty common that sometimes you don't find what you're looking for, believe it or not, with all this. So let's see here. Oh, wait, I just saw a different thing though. Ledges slash sills. Oh, that's more like window ledges and sills. I thought it meant like cliff, like ledges and stuff like that. Anyway, uh, landscapes. But no landscapers. What about lawnmowers? Nothing there either. So right now I'm just going to rely on what I went with in that case. A landscaper is someone who's maintaining. Okay, but how about the lawn? Because I feel like the front lawn will give us more information as to what is getting maintained. So actually, let's go to yard. Maybe there's front yard or backyard. Let's try front yard. Okay, let's try yard. Yeah, I always struggle with the yards and what they mean. I think front yards have more to do with, things that are generally seen by the public or in a social settings, because it's like the front of a property, everyone sees it, especially if there's no fence up, which there was a fence along the sides and in the back, but mm, I think there was a fence up front too, so this was a little bit hidden. But it wasn't my yard. Okay, let's see if we can find anything here for that. Mm, Yikes. All right, we are shit out of luck there. That's okay. We at least have some kind of a foundation, though. We know that the thing that was being maintained something that's more or less seen. And the fact that it was a house or a home tells me that it's an aspect, it could be an aspect of my being, but again, the fact that it's not my own house, my own dream house, which recurs, is kind of throwing me off a little bit. Maybe this has more to do with a public persona anyways, because it's not more in the privacy of my own property. It's more, plus the whole dream started surrounded by friends. So this is telling me that this might have something to do more with public image. I think public image, I think we're right there. Okay. I like that. That seemed to really resonate. Public image. Okay. So the landscaper is the one who's maintaining that public image. All right. So now that I have that, I'm going to start with the analysis. I'm kind of out of space here, so I'm just going to, go to a new page, aka the back. All right. So, and this is in a familiar place and with familiar friends. So public image. Yeah, I think that's pretty spot on. We'll see. That's fun. Okay, so I'm just gonna put random front lawn. And really emphasize the front here. I'll underline it. Public image equals public image. And the landscaper is a symbol for the upkeep of this image. Now, once he left his post, so to speak, his lawnmower, I thought it'd be a great idea to take over. Okay, now this is where we have to relate it to where I'm at in life right now. And actually, this video and being on this channel right now is gonna help me a little bit with that as proof, to help this resonate a little bit. If it's not for you yet, this will hopefully make it make sense, because I think I got the gears turning a little bit here. Okay, so the lawn, excuse me, the landscaper who's maintaining this lawn left, and I took it upon myself to hop on the lawnmower, that tool that Okay, I hop on the tool that we'll say shapes this public image. In other words, I take control of how I want this image to be publicly perceived. Now, here's the thing. This is the first video I've made of this kind. And that's why I think this ties in beautifully. I'm trying this out. I'm trying to make this image. This is a public video, and I'm taking control of it more or less. I'm trying to guide this on some kind of direction here. So I think that's pretty good. All right. And now when the when the landscaper realizes, he gets upset. And I think this signifies maybe the conditioning of my old self wanting me to, or just being scared of reshaping this image. So we'll say this is anxiety slash fear. Response to, we'll just say trying something new, honestly. In terms of public image. Now the police officer being an authority figure makes me think of judgment from authority figures. The fear of being judged by authority figures, not just police officers, but, you know, we'll say people's parents. Because, you know, when it comes to dreams, especially, and I say dreams because when it comes to public image, I'm now not rebranding, but adding this to my brand that I can do this sort of work. I can analyze and interpret dreams. But there is kind of a stigma around dreams that they're nonsense. And I'm here to say that that's not the case. And I'm going to make that clear. So I think the authority figure represents fear around judgment from authority. Okay, and we do have policemen here on page 431 and 506. So let's just kind of verify here. Let's see. While we're here. So let's just kind of verify here. 8, 29, 30, 31. Okay, the law. Uniformed and professional authorities. Okay, well this page is talking about images such as soldiers in uniform or policemen on duty, and you are the only one not wearing a uniform. which isn't really the case here. I don't feel like I was part of that unit, but it is also saying it could reflect the sense that you're falling out of line in some way or deviating from what is expected from you, which actually resonates pretty well here. In a sense, this is something new to me and probably a lot of people who know me. So that makes sense. But let's also see, I think the other one was 50 something. Just to see if we can get anything more. 506. Anything more close to what I'm feeling. But that's pretty good. Jeez. 508, 7, 6. Procedure, correct behavior. All right, well, it's also saying policemen can also represent a father figure. And this was a man, this wasn't a police woman. That's not really resonating, though. I think it's more or less in general of just that perceived notion that I'm doing something different than what a lot of people expect of me. Okay, yeah, I think that's good there. So I'm just going to add the policeman is a representation of let's just say the part of me that recognizes that I'm going to use the word deviating from, we'll say, the norm of my, we'll go current public image. Okay. What else? Okay, now we flee the scene. And we book it. Like we're cutting through houses, hopping fences, like. Okay, now we flee the scene. And ultimately we get to this cliff edge where we have to jump into unknown emotions, into unknown territory, but ultimately to safety. But it took a leap of faith. I mean, I think we pretty much have our analysis here. And I think it's somewhat centered around this YouTube channel, or at least this part of myself that's really been meaning and wanting to do this, but has been kind of hesitant to do so because it's, for one, it's new. I've never done this before, obviously. And it's different. I don't know anyone else that does this. So I think the fact that I had to take a leap of faith and to do this, but ultimately feel safe, which we'll see after this. I mean, I already feel a lot more comfortable since I started, but we'll go with that. So I'm just going to write that down. We'll say taking a leap of faith off of a cliff edge into water or unknown emotions. Signifies the act of courage it takes to feel safe in my own skin while pursuing my desires slash walking my path. We'll leave it at that. And let's get into the analysis now, shall we? So I'm going to have to type all this in. Not only do I have to type in the dream, but I also have to type in the analysis. But I have it all in one place now, so that makes it easier. All right. And this was roughly almost an hour. Not bad. I might just cut it with this dream and then we'll do part 2 tomorrow. I don't want to keep this too long. This was a cool pilot, I think. So let's do this. I'm going to use ChatGPT. Okay. All right, we'll just say, hey, chat. Let's do some dream analysis. All right. Okay. So this is a dream from the full moon. And I'll just put the date, which is, yeah. Goes as follows. I'm walking through, here I'll specify my hometown. With friends. Friends. And I notice a landscaper a solo landscaper, by the way, a solo landscaper on a property and I notice a solo landscaper on a property who has left his lawnmower. See if this is 1 or 2 words. I think it's, oh, it's 1 word, okay. Lawnmower unattended. Okay. And went to the backyard. I said elsewhere here, but I remember he went to the backyard. I hop on the lawnmower, feeling intrigued and curious about how it operates. Start using it and go up and down the front yard of this random lawn. Cutting the grass. The homeowners who are also outside don't seem to realize that oh, that's actually an interesting detail that I forgot to go over. Whatever, we'll see what it says. Maybe it has some relevance here. I could think about it, but I'm just not right now. Who don't seem to realize that I'm not the person hired. They think I'm the landscaper. Just as I finish up and dismount, I hear shouting and see the landscaper approaching with a police officer. As they are searching for the suspected lawnmower hijacker, my friends and I also didn't really expound into what my friends could symbolize here. Could just be, a social aspect there. We'll see. Anyways, my friends and I casually walk off the property, and as soon as we're out of view of the scene, we sprint. We cut through yards and hop over fences until we reach a cliff edge. Below, we'll say, a very long distance away, at least 100 feet, is a body of natural water. So we jump down. Oh, and I forgot to mention actually, but I remember feeling as I was jumping, it was definitely, it didn't take me too much convincing to jump off. Like I was ready to jump. Obviously, it was a little scary, but I didn't feel a sense of panic really when I was falling. Just knew it was kind of what I had to do. So we jump off cliff into the water. I don't This is a hard word. Necessarily, yes. Feel panicked. Climb out to safety to my friend house. Okay, hold on. I'm afraid that it's just going to give me the interpretation before I. You know what? I've already kind of shared the interpretation with you. No. Okay, hold on. Let me let me do this. I just copied this. I'll say, hey chat. I did some dream analysis, and I want to cross reference it with you. I already asked chat and chats before if I could call him chat. He consented to it, by the way. Okay, paste that. And I'll just clarify entering. So here's the analysis. Stick with me, folks. We're almost done. I hope this is fun for you. Okay. Random front lawn equals public, and I'll put in parentheses social image. And the landscaper represents a symbol for the upkeep of this image. And you know what? We'll say perhaps an external influence. How about that? That's even more in depth. And I think that resonates. I mean, I know that resonates, but we'll see what chat has to say about that. Now, I already have a good feeling about what this dream means to me, but this is just a fun way to see how we did. Okay? Okay. I hop on the tool that is responsible for the upkeep. In other words, I take charge of this, of the creation of this image. And how I would like it, let's say want it to be perceived. When the landscaper and policeman we'll just say the landscaper and policeman returning represent the old way, always slash perceptions of what my image, we'll just put parentheses, ought to be, either from my own subconscious, I don't know why I'm correcting it, it knows, beliefs slash what I've been conditioned to believe of my image. Taking a leap of faith off the cliff edge represents the courage it takes to follow my own path in order to feel safe in my own skin, pursuing my dreams, literally. And I'll just put a note. Nope. I say this because currently I decided to try something new and launch a YouTube series. Series. Thought I said Siri. YouTube series that I've been thinking about for a while, but haven't had the time or courage to carry out in this fresh chapter of life. And we'll get into that later. What do you think? All right, let's see. That was a lot. Sorry, telling me that you're approaching as softly. Overall, your interpretation is solid and psychologically coherent, especially given what's happening in your waking life. Break this into a few layers, where your analysis aligns strongly, additional angles you might consider, and how it connects with your. Okay. The core framing holds up pretty well. The front lawn is public image slash social facing self. It's a classic and very fitting symbol. Front yards are literally what others see first, and the fact that it's not your house suggests this is about how you appear in a shared or external spaces. Okay, so that's actually really cool to get confirmation on, because that one was kind of tripping me up a little bit. Landscaper as an external authority or inherited standard. The fact that he's solo and absent when you step in matters. It's just the rules or standards were learned earlier. They're no longer actively enforced moment to moment, yet they still exist in the background. Nice. Backyard, background. I like it. That one hits. Using the mower competently. So you're not joyriding or wrecking things, you're finished the lawn. That's funny. I was actually like doing a really good job too. So that's a key detail. And I wasn't joyriding. I was literally cutting the lawn. Saying I can do this, I already am doing this. Homeowners not noticing. This strongly supports the idea that the fear of judgment may be louder internally than it is externally. That's, yeah, I was feeling that too. Some additional layers. Yeah, the police officer isn't chasing me. He's searching, not confronting face to face. This can generalize fear of consequences, internalized authority. I'll get in trouble somehow by doing this, and vague anxiety rather than a concrete threat. Never caught, questioned, or punished. Yeah. Your friends stay with you the whole time because Yeah, they walk casually with you at first, they sprint with you, and they jump with you. Suggest that this change isn't isolating you socially, even if it feels like, oh man. See, I don't know that, but it's probably true. That's just anxiety. Parts of you feel supported by real people or internal allies. This matters a lot for creative risk taking. Yep. The cliff jumping is calm, not panic. Did I say that? I forgot to mention if I typed that. Oh yeah, I did say that. Okay. Um, this is a big signal. It should feel terrifying, but it really didn't. Risk is large conceptually, but emotionally, the water, emotional truth, intuition, creative, or unconscious flow. Okay. Yeah. You don't fall into chaos, something that receives you. And connection to the YouTube series. Given your note, the timing makes the stream feel less random and more integrative. Symbolically, old image maintenance, who I'm supposed to be, how I've been seen, taking the mower, I decide how to present myself. Authority returning is conditioned, doubts, fear, judgment, rules, escape. Slash leap is I'm gonna do it anyway, in a place of safety that feels aligned. What stands out most is the dream doesn't end with exposure, punishment, it ends with safety. Your unconscious isn't warning you away from this path, it's rehearsing the courage required to take it. A gentle, reflective question, optional. This is interesting. You don't have to answer this here, but it might be useful to sit with. In the dream, you never explain yourself. How does that relate to your urge, if any, to justify your creative choices to others? If you want, yeah, that's a good question. How does this relate to the urge, if any, to justify it? Well, remember at the start I said I probably wouldn't be able to sleep if I didn't put this video out? That was the urge to just do this. I've been wanting to do this. And yeah, I don't care. I don't really care what anyone thinks. Like, this is so much fun. And you know what? We were pretty freaking on point here. And I was very nervous about that starting. Granted, I did meditate on this a little bit today, or at least try to concentrate on it, but I have some other dreams that we'll get into that I really have no idea what direction they're going to go in. So, we'll see how that turns out. But overall, this is pretty good. Really good. Trying to think if there's anything else I can ask here. We kind of have, the friends as allies here. That was good. All right. We're going to stop it there then. Uh, we'll stop there as far as analysis goes. That was awesome. I didn't think it was going to be that successful, but that worked out really well. We're a little bit over an hour in. Cool. Yeah, that's all I really wanted to do. So next time, I'd love to help someone interpret their dream as well. I want to do next part 2 of this dream because there's a segue. There's a part 2 to this. It's kind of the same dream but different, a different frame. And now that I have a firm grasp on this, the dream is going to tie in really well, I think. And I did have other dreams from this night too. But and you know what? I always do this. I'm like, they're just fragments. I shouldn't write them down. Write them down. Just do it. Some mornings I have the motivation to do it, but yeah. And again, guys, this isn't easy because doing anything as soon as you wake up I'm just getting in bed is hard. Forcing yourself to write and write a lot. I mean, it's a page. This is from in the night before or whatever. 2 pages because that's the next stream. And there's some nights or some mornings rather, and these are bigger pages. I have 1 page, 2, 3, like it's a lot. My dreams are pretty vivid. So I encourage you guys to share them with me. You can be as discreet, anonymous, private as you'd like. I'm not here to get anything about you. This is more just to help you get a step closer to finding meaning with what initially seems very confusing. And even if it doesn't resonate, at least we can strike out things that aren't the answer. And I think that'll help you either way. And again, you can leave a comment on this video if you're live in the chat. I have the chat open on my phone, so I'll be able to read it and try to help you in real time. Or email me. I have my email in the description of this video as well as for the channel. Email me. That way we can, even if you don't want this to be received live, I mean, if I don't get a lot of people, maybe we could just do like a one-on-one thing. I think that'd be cool. Okay? That's really all I got right now. This was awesome. I'm really glad that I can get this off the ground, and I'm going to continue to do this whether I get people or not. I got lots of dreams to go over, and the whole point of this is just to give you guys a method. And I'll say it just takes consistency and a little discipline. It's taken me years to get sharp as to having dreams every night and writing them down. And I'll be honest, I don't write them down every morning, especially if I'm forced to get out of bed at an early time and I don't really have time to write. Like if my dog really needs to go out or if something comes up, sometimes it just doesn't happen, and that's okay. Everything happens for a reason anyway, so I don't try to beat myself up about that too much. But I try to be as consistent as I can, and yeah, thanks for joining me. Thanks for watching. I'll be back eventually when I get a following. I'll schedule these things so you guys can join and be prepared real time so we can do this together. Write down your dreams and